Well, I'm underneath the floor pan finally, welding it to the the inner rocker panel, and you know I don't have a lift, so I'm doing this on the floor, so it is a real pain in the butt. But like you say, I just stuck welds every couple inches. They need to be cleaned up a little bit, but they're there. Then I went ahead and welded around the braces, just to get them a little bit more secure. As you can see there's one, and then there's the one that the frame is connected to. I went ahead and welded it in a few spots just to really make sure everything's good and tight. As you can see, you know, I basically, like I said, welded every 2 inches from front all the way to the back. That's basically where the floors were overlapped. I'll show you a little bit more here. There's another shot of it, and you can see that it looks pretty good. You know, I'm not probably going to weld the bottom. I'll just put seam sealer on it, but I think it'll disappear anyway. There's the tunnel. You can see it around. Overlaps in the rear pan. It looks pretty good. And then down the floor pan itself. That's basically the seam inside. Basically up the back. Like I said, it looks pretty good. I think once it's covered, you know, once it's just painted over, covered with carpet, I think you'll almost never see that it's fixed anyway. Well, that's all. The welds are ground down now. You can tell it looks pretty good. I'll probably put some seam sealer down. Well, I definitely will, but you can see I reinforced all the brackets to the rocker panels. There it is all the way down. I gotta get ready to hang my brake and vent line back up to the tank, and then, like I said, seam seal where I splice the two together. You can see it right there, and I think it'll disappear. Like I said, I'm welding on the floor, so it's too much a pain in the butt to weld this side too. So that's what I'm going to do with it. Well, my next step is to primer the floor. As you can see, I've already started on some of it, but I'm using this self-etching primer to coat the whole floor with. Then I'm going to go back over it with my seam sealer and seal up basically where we pulled it out originally, so down the edges and probably where I welded a little bit, just to make sure it's watertight. For anybody wanting to know what this car looks like, that's basically it. Got a lot of stuff stored on top of it at the moment, but This is the floor with its primer coat and seam sealer down. I got a couple spots that I've just covered the spot welds right there, which you see fresh. Then I'm going to go back with some primer and hit it again. But you can see I did the seam from the rear floor pan. A couple of the spot welds over there, I just went ahead and covered them. You can see where I went ahead and seam sealed that whole splice there where I put in that front half pan. Overall, it looks pretty good. This is underneath the car. You can see where I seam sealed the edge of the pan where they came together at. And then I went ahead and sealed down the rocker panel where I spot welded it back in. And that's the rear floor pan. And that's basically the original seam of the car right there. You can see where I went ahead and threw some up there. Like I said, once this is actually primed over and undercoated, it'll be, I'm going to say, almost 80-90% invisible. You can see the black seam sealer and the white. The black is Napa brand and the white is 3M. I actually like the Napa brand a whole lot better. So if anybody's really wanting to know, I'd say go buy the Napa caulk kind, because it lays on a little thicker so it doesn't have so many finger marks in it from where you spread it out. It kind of just stays a little bit more solid than the rest of them. But you can see underneath, that's where I welded in my drain plug. But really, it's coming along quite well. I still got some cleaning up to do where the other pan I didn't change out, but you can see it's really just got some surface rust on it. I'm going to clean that off and re-undercoat this whole side. Well, I ended up using this self-etching primer on the floor, and then I started to use some spray paint that was enamel based, and I didn't like it at all, so I went ahead and painted it the color of the outside of the car, which is this 4110. It's a blue metallic. I preferred it much better, so I'll show you what it looks like inside now. Like I said, it's still fresh, but there's basically the finished product. Like I said, it's a pretty good match there, because this is the original blue and that's what I painted in there. So it's basically floor pan finished at this point. I'm going to go back and have to finally put in my seat brackets, which started all this to begin with. So I'm going to have to grind some of this off and then repaint over the top of the seat brackets, but I'm going to call this done on the floor pan installation video. Hope you enjoyed it.